your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
I saw this last night, and it just made me go, man, what are you doing? What are you doing? Mike Tyson's getting ready to fight, right?
Yeah, Jesse Paul dude.
Yeah, Jake Paul,
whoever.
Yeah. Do you care at all about this?
No.
Okay. Apparently Tyson was on a flight from Miami to Los Angeles when he started getting sick.
Oh.
I mean, you fly a lot, right? You fly a lot. Yeah. How many flights have you been on, or have you ever been on a flight where they've asked if there's a doctor aboard?
None. Never.
None, never.
And
you?
Yeah.
I think I heard you say this. Is 70 a year, 70 flights a year?
Actually, more like 150 flights a year.
Okay, 150 flights a year. Yeah. Okay. So 150 flights a year, and you've been doing that for several years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And never been on a flight where, is there a doctor aboard? Is there a doctor aboard? We've got a patient, somebody.
No, nothing like that. Yeah. I have been on a flight where we have diverted and landed because there was an ill person. They've never got on board and said, "Oh, is there a doctor in the house?"
Yeah.
No. But we have been informed we're going to make an emergency landing and have a person taken off for medical attention.
Okay.
I've also been on one where a person we pulled out from the gate and went back to the gate, and this young lady got off the plane.
Was she overserved?
She was overserved at some point, and she got on the phone and all those rules that they give you the instructions about. She pretty much violated every one of them.
Okay.
So
they gave her an opportunity to kind of see a different part of the airport.
Yeah. She probably got to see the inside of a squad car that day.
So Tyson's on this flight from Miami to Los Angeles when he starts feeling sick. Okay. They were almost to LAX, and he apparently was in so much pain that the flight attendants asked if there's anyone on board that could help him. He became nauseous. He was dizzy. He had an ulcer flare up 30 minutes before landing.
An ulcer in his.
I don't know where the ulcer was.
I had ulcers as a kid growing up, and those are not fun.
My point is, if you're training to box, okay, and you're going to be in a fight, I would think that maybe having an ulcer would not be conducive to your success.
Yeah.
Paramedics boarded the plane. When it reached the gate, they treated Tyson on the spot. Blah, blah, blah. His rep says he's doing great now. But anyway, he's going to fight Jake Paul coming up. And again, he's 57. This bout is July the 20th.
Yeah.
He probably got no business fighting. My guess
Tyson or Jake Paul? I mean, to be quite honest, I think Jake Paul could get really hurt. I mean, could like really, really get hurt doing this. I don't really care. I'm not going to watch to see. But I mean,
if Tyson's been training, I mean, obviously he was the top boxer in the world for quite some time.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 57, but still.
Did you think that he just forgot how to fight?
Right. No, he packs a punch, no doubt.
Yeah. I mean, because I've seen Mike Tyson walking around, just on TV. He's still got some pythons. I mean, he may have a Dunlap over in his middle, but I bet you he could get that punch going again.
He's got that nasty looking tattoo on his face.
Well, I mean, you go tell him.
Yeah, well, I know, but I mean, it's like what were you thinking?
If I were Jake Paul, I mean, I know he did this for a goof, and he probably think is it one round I think they're going to do?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I mean, there's no chance. There's no amount of money. There's no amount of fame. There's no amount of anything that would allow me to consciously step into a ring with an intent to actually box Mike Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
No.
This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Chris, Dan in Dallas is the guy who lived across the street from you on 74th.
Yeah, Danny. Hey, Danny. We ran into each other. We saw you at the pregame. And
you just said you didn't see him in Arlington.
Well, now I know I did.
Okay.
Yeah, he used to be my neighbor.
Okay, well, there you go. Neighbor Dan.
Dan the neighbor.
Dan the neighbor. This is from about 15 minutes ago. Kirk wants to know, where does Tech baseball stand with NIL? The other sports amounts have been public. I don't recall actually numbers being announced for baseball.
I believe that every player on the roster gets $10,000. That's what I understand when they first did that. And at one point I thought, wow, what a tremendous advantage for Texas Tech, because it's essentially putting everyone on some sort of a scholarship. Mm-hmm. But then you start seeing the numbers and the dollars that flow into a program like Arkansas. Wow.
What about within the Big 12? Who's your biggest competitor there?
I'm sure Texas was.
Well, or even
Oklahoma.
I
would say Oklahoma State's probably putting some real resources into NIL. And I mean, this is only my best guesses. I mean, I can't tell you for sure, but I mean, I would think that Oklahoma State's probably doing some of that.
Yeah. And the question is, I mean, it's only going to get bigger.
The genie's out of the lamp right now. I mean, it is.
And this settlement is going to create big problems for sports like baseball and everything. I don't want to say down from baseball, but that's not revenue generating, because baseball does revenue generate. But other sports are going to really be impacted by this, and probably baseball will be too.
I think there's going to be some interesting times in terms of legislation from the NCAA in terms of what qualifies you to be a Division I athletic department, the number of sports you have to maintain, and there could be some seismic shifts in the way things are done, and this is going to cause a ripple effect across all of college athletics, and I think it's going to be very interesting.
One of the things that I was thinking about the other day is just think back if Texas Tech hadn't started its South End Zone project when it did. There's a real possibility that based on this lawsuit and what's taking place with an NIL, that you may not have been able to do that if it had delayed that any kind of time at all.
Yeah, and I'm curious to know what the ramifications are for departments across the country. Can you get a donor to fund your portion of this, or does it have to come out of your individual athletic department revenue coffers? So that'll be interesting to see, because it might be in such a structured in such a fashion that you can't take money that would have been dedicated for that deal, the South End Zone project, to pay for something like that, because it's going to come out of your athletic department revenues,
as opposed to just somebody writing a check for it.
Yeah.
6:39 this morning here on the Morning Drive. If you have a thought or a comment, hit us up. Yates Flooring Center chat line. This person, and I have no idea if they're correct or not, but you may, that Arkansas paid $60,000 each for White and Molina.
Say that again?
That Arkansas paid $60,000 each for White and Molina.
That's interesting, because I actually heard the Molina number was higher.
Yeah, that's what I had heard too. I'd heard that it was a six-figure number for Molina.
Yeah.
But who knows? 6:40 this morning here on the Morning Drive. This day in sports history is next.
This is the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Morning Drive. Today is May the 28th, 2024. With this day in sports history, here is George Christopher Snead.
Thank you, Chuck. Thank you, Jeff.
My answer wrong.
Yes, it is May 28th in the year of our Lord, 2024. Chuck, we are all going to make it.
Okay.
The Mayans were indeed wrong. All right, on this date, Chuck, 1946, the first night game ever played at Yankee Stadium. The Senators of Washington beat the Yankees 2-1. What do we know of the Washington Senators? First in war, first in peace, last in the American League.
Do you wish they were still the Senators?
No.
Okay.
Because the Senators became the Rangers.
Okay.
They moved out. All right, 1951, after going 0 for 12, Willie Mays connects for his first Major League home run.
You'd have a few more.
Just a few. All right, on this day, 1957, the National League approves baseball's Brooklyn Dodgers and the New York Giants to move to the West Coast.
They really didn't have much of a choice.
Well, the Giants, they took over the San Francisco Seals ballpark, Candlestick Park.
And the Dodgers obviously moved to L.A. But, I mean, they had already kind of extended the middle finger to the National League.
And they didn't have 3 teams in New York. I mean, the Polo Grounds and Yankee Stadium were like within like a 2 hours of each other. You can see each other from. 1968, the American League announces it's splitting into 2 divisions, the East and the West. Nothing?
No, I mean, that's all I knew. That's all. I don't remember baseball without 4 divisions. Without at least 4.
Yeah.
Without,
it was 4 divisions.
I mean, for me, in 1968, there was no baseball in Kansas City because the A's had moved to Oakland, and the Royals were coming in '69. So, I mean, I was 8 years old the summer of '69. So that's my first recollection of everyday baseball. My first memory of a World Series is the '67 World Series between the Red Sox and the Cardinals.
Very good. Also in 1968, the National League grants the city of San Diego a franchise that would become the Fathers. 1994, Minnesota Twins Dave Winfield passes Rod Carew into 15th on the hit list with 3,054 hits.
I think that would surprise a lot of people. If you'd have said, who has more hits, Dave Winfield or Rod Carew, I think people would say Rod Carew.
Yeah, and he wasn't done yet. All right, 2006, former Red Raider Josh Bard goes 3 for 5 with 2 home runs and a double to help the Padres win 10-8 over the Cardinals. It's International Burger Day, and it's also Passion Fruit Martini Day.
What is an international burger? Jeff's going to have knowledge on this.
Internationally, have a burger. It's not just National Burger Day. It's International Burger Day.
So there's nothing like put inside the burger to make it tricked up or anything like that.
It's not. There is no international
not just
burger.
National Burger Day.
It's not a cheeseburger.
International.
So
it's not like hamburger, cheeseburger, international burger.
Worldwide Burger Day.
No. Okay. How do you feel about the passion fruit, Chuck?
The passion what?
Passion fruit. You were so enamored with the international burger that you missed it's also Passion Fruit Martini Day. How do you feel about the passion fruit and or the martini?
The martini, I'm out. Passion fruit, like what constitutes passion fruit?
It's in love with you. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking cherries, strawberries.
No, the passion fruit is a passion fruit. Look it up. Google it. Born on this day, happy birthday to former co-host of ours, the big handsome Chris Level.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday.
51 years young today.
Okay.
How about that?
51.
51. Happy birthday, Jaylene Hinkle, former Lady Raider. Oh, sorry, Red Raider soccer player.
There you go.
Born on this day, Gladys Knight. No mention of the Pips. How old do you think she is?
I'm going to say 82.
80.
Okay.
Born on this day, the logo, Jerry West.
Jerry West.
How old do you think he is?
I think he is, let's see, 81.
86. Born on this day, Colby Calais.
I don't know who that is.
Singer, 39 years old. Born on this day, former disgraced, well, not currently disgraced mayor of New York City, Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah, I think he's pretty disgraced.
Also 80. Bad dye job. Born on this day.
He came to Lubbock once and spoke.
So what?
Well, it was actually at a point in time. It was actually at a point in time when he was pretty popular after 9/11.
Born on this day, big dog Glenn Rice. Born on this day, the most dramatic home run in World Series history, Kirk Gibson. 67.
Well, I think Bill Mazeroski would have something to say about that, and I think Joe Carter would have something to say about that because both those guys hit home runs that ended World Series.
Yeah, but neither of those guys came off the bench limping when they did it. Dead on this day, still dead.
I'm going to dispute you on that.
Dead on this day, still dead. Defensive end Marquise Hill, the Patriots, who was drafted in the second round in the 2004 NFL draft. He played college football at LSU. On the evening of May 27, 2007, Hill and his friend Ashley Blasio fell off a jet ski in Lake Pontchartrain north of New Orleans. Neither of them wore personal flotation or tracking devices, and according to Hill's agent, who spoke with Blasio, Hill ended up saving her life, keeping her calm until she could grab onto a buoy. Blasio was rescued and sent to Tulane Medical Center. Coast Guard units searched the area, and Hill's body was found by a Louisiana Department of Wildlife Fisheries around 2:20 p.m. Also dead on this day, actor and comedian Phil Hartman.
That was a bad ending for him.
Bad.
His wife shot him in bed.
Yeah.
And his own bed.
Yeah,
it was her.
And then she killed herself. Murder-suicide.
Yeah.
He was 49. Both dead on this day.
All right, and just a reminder, it's Chris's former neighbor. It's on 74th Street, whom he saw at the Big 12 baseball tournament, whom he did not recognize as a member of his former neighborhood.
No, no, that's not true. I didn't recognize that my former neighbor was Dan from Dallas.
Dan in Dallas.
I didn't realize that.
Okay.
I just now learned something.
Okay, he's Dan in Dallas. Time for our lucky local winning word here at 6:52 this morning. All you have to do is go to WT973.com, enter this word. You could win some casholine, as you would like to say, Mr. Snead.
Yes, sir.
All you have to do is enter the word heat as in H-E-A-T, heat.
Miami.
And Double T 97.3 in the home zone are going to give you some cash. And then reminder, put June the 20th on your calendar at Two Docs. We're going to give away $2,500 that night at Two Docs. So the beer is on you. Again, this is a local contest, so make sure that you participate. Go to Double T973.com, and we thank the home zone where they make your house a home every single day at 50th in Indiana. It's 6:53 this morning here on the morning drive. This thought: when one is competing against the Jerry Joneses and the Tyson Chickens of the world across the entire landscape of college athletics, success will not be cheap, unfortunately.
No, that is an accurate statement.
That is an accurate statement.
And don't think that we are without those resources around here. Those resources haven't been tapped, or they haven't been asked, or we may not have identified them yet. There are plenty of well-to-do Texas Tech Red Raiders. They just may not have the affinity for the sport we need them to.
What did you say, Colby Calais? Is that her?
Colby Calais.
Calais. This person says is an underrated artist/musician.
Yes.
Okay. Artiste/musician. Yeah. All right.
Oh, and by the way, Michael Orr. I forgot. I just jumped right over here. Michael Orr from The Blind Side. Mm-hmm. How old do you think he is?
I think he is 43.
He's 38.
38.
Yeah. Interestingly, if he's suing the family, the Toohey family, basically, saying that
we stopped hearing about that.
Yeah, so. The Blind Side was he kind of, I don't know. That's an interesting story.
Whose story are you buying there? Are you buying the Tooheys or are you buying his?
I don't know. There's Colby.
Seems like both sides kind of, both sides kind of had an advantage there.
I don't know which side. I'd love to hear the rest of everything before I made a judgment on this.
And I have no idea.
Yeah,
I have no idea if the Tooheys gave him more than they got or if he gave them more than he got. All I know is this: probably were it not for the Tooheys, he probably doesn't make it into the National Football League.
There's probably some truth to that.
Okay. 6:55 this morning here on the Morning Drive.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Chris Snead is in for Jamie Lent this morning, and Jeff McGuire and Chuck Heinz. Yates Flooring Center chat line is open. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app. It's presented by Happy State Bank. Visual Edge IT hotline too. We'll have Astros baseball. They take on the Mariners tonight in Seattle, Emerald City, 8:10. Play-by-play to follow. Rangers and the D-backs tonight at 6:30, and then play-by-play to follow. That'll be on Double T 97.3. I made a declaration before the Astros played in Mexico that they were dead in the water and not going to make the playoffs. How do you feel about that prognostication?
That you made?
Yeah. Yeah, I made that.
I mean...
You were not aware of that?
I knew you made it, but I mean... I probably, would
you have agreed with me at that point in time?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I was like many Rangers fans, I was enjoying their suffering and.
I mean, they've gone 17-13 since then, so they're four over 500.
Yeah, and the Rangers aren't that.
No, the Rangers are. The Rangers are fortunate to be in the West. Seattle leads the West by 3.5, so a chance for the Astros to pick up some ground. I mean, heck, even Oakland is still in contention. I mean, they're 7 back. The Angels are 8 back in the West. So that's kind of where things stand. Is this a time of year where you'll start paying more attention to Major League Baseball, or have you been?
Probably. Yeah, I'll probably get more in tune with it because I usually start picking up around the time that that Tech gets eliminated.
Okay.
And so it's a couple weeks earlier than normal for me. Because usually we're in the regional, super regional. I mean, obviously we get to super regional. We usually make it to Omaha, but yeah, I mean, it's the time I start watching again. I'll start picking it up and paying more attention. Memorial Day, about the time like you, I think I actually gave that to you about paying attention to these standings.
No. I've been doing this way before I ever met you.
Okay, good. All right, good.
You can't take credit for everything with me.
I take credit for most of the things with you, though.
You try to.
No, not to try, Chuck. I mean, you're rolling one deep. Okay,
I stole that from you. But there are some things you've stolen from me.
Name one.
Tra-la-la. You stole that from me.
I didn't steal the tra-la-la from you.
Yes, I've been saying it for 50 years.
Almighty.
I've been saying it for 50 years.
Okay, my guy.
Well, I mean, you sit over there and go, well, you're taking everything from me? No, I have not.
Are you showing off? Are you showing off again?
No.
Okay.
No. Showing off for who?
Ooh.
For who? Who would I be showing off for?
Get my Rob Bro shirt on.
Yeah. No. Not showing off for Rob Bro. Not showing off for anybody. Okay. I can stand on my own 2 legs.
Okay. Oh, ooh.
Stand on my own 2 legs.
Okay, all right.
Somebody wants to know your thoughts on Angel Hernandez retiring from Major League Baseball. We've got a couple of those thoughts.
Oh, you got what you wanted. Now who are you going to blame?
Was it time for him?
I don't know.
Let me ask you this: of the sports, would you say right now, and I'll include college football, the NFL, college baseball, college basketball, the NBA, and Major League Baseball, is Major League Baseball, is the home plate umpire the most scrutinized of all those officials?
Yeah.
Is that unfair or fair?
Well, it's fair and it's unfair. I mean, a guy that goes probably 93% on balls and strikes calling in a game, 93 to 95%, had a pretty good game. And yet, some guy
we're going to focus on the 10 pitches that were missed.
That missed. He calls 300 pitches a game. He misses 10. And, some guy sitting up there in the 17th row, drinking his 8th Budweiser of the 4th inning is complaining, or he's sitting at home on his Barca lounger watching a box that the TV network puts up that's not accurate, by the way, because it's shown from an angle that's not the actual angle that he's looking at. So
you're talking about the TV box.
Yeah, the TV box is not
because it's not always straight on from center field. It's not
straight on from center field, and the shot usually comes over the right shoulder of the pitcher, which skews the angle, and so that pitch that gets called on the outside corner that looks like he's calling outside pitches is actually in the strike zone. But the little box that TV puts up makes it look like it's not. But whatever. Anyway, yeah, it's tough, and then those guys that get paid to do that, and what are you gonna do? And Angel Hernandez became a lightning rod for it, and he took it for a long time, and I think he just got tired of taking it.
Do you think that Major League Baseball didn't give him enough support?
I don't know. I don't know what kind of support they. I have no idea. I don't know what.
We never saw anybody come out and really be supportive of him from the commissioner's office or from the umpire's office or something along those lines.
There's all kind of. Be careful here. It's a tough situation. People wanted him gone and he's gone.
Yeah.
So
who's next, right?
That is. Now. The average umpire is does a pretty good job if he's in the 90-95% range. I challenge most of the people critical of them to be 95% good at their job. Most people aren't.
And he did do some things that.
Of course they did. He became a lightning rod, and he became the face of Major League Baseball officiating, and it's unfortunate. And I want to leave it at that.
7:22 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Take your thoughts, comments on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to WT973.com for that, or the mobile app. All right, so here's something that kind of stood out to me, and this may carry over past 7:30. Utah already maybe looking over their shoulder and going, maybe the Big 12 isn't for us.
Okay. See you later. Bye.
Are you worried about college sports in general?
I think that the landscape of college sports, the grounds are shifting right underneath our feet right now, and there's active conversations. The ACC is doing what the Big 12 did. Yormark did something. He was just proactive, and he jumped ahead of the line and got the Big 12 in a more solid footing before the ACC could do it and before the Pac-12 could do it. And now the Pac-12 has two teams. And the ACC is worried that some of their bigger brands could be leaving for greener pastures. And that lawsuit, whatever, with the major schools in the ACC is a real thing. And if that comes to pass,
But not everybody can go to the Big Ten, and not everybody can go to the SEC, right?
No, you're right.
And so are we going to have two conferences of haves and everybody else just gets kind of relegated down?
I don't know. I think that there's I've said it before. It's like, okay, you have two conferences of halves, okay? And Gus said the same thing because, it's amazing. Gus and I have the same conversation. We both say the same thing on the radio. If you have 20 teams in a league, somebody's going to be Vanderbilt.
Right.
Okay? It doesn't matter. You could put all the top 25 teams in one conference. Somebody's going to go 0-12 because everyone doesn't get to go 12-0. And so a major sports property is going to go 0-12.
And look at Oklahoma and Texas going to the SEC. It may not go that well for them.
Hey, guys, take a look at Arkansas.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
Someone not named Jamie is going to give this question today.
Cool planning. We're good at it. Gentlemen.
This is on me. That's my fault. I'm sorry.
It is May 28th, 2024. We've already had Memorial Day, the first checkpoint for some people looking at Major League Baseball schedule and the standings. As of right now, one, both, none, and if it's one, which one of the Houston Astros or Texas Rangers make the playoffs, and why?
You want to go first, Steve?
None. The answer is none. The AL West is a one-team division this year without a wild card in play. The Rangers may not have enough current horses to keep themselves in the race until their other horses get back. And with Scherzer getting extended to the 60-day DL, Josh getting extended to the 60-day DL, there's just, I mean, at one point, the entire starting outfield was on the injured list. 2/3 of your infield was on the injured list until they got Nathaniel Lowe back. 2/4. Sorry.
Maybe a half.
2/4. It's real math right there.
2/4.
And basically almost your entire starting rotation was on the injured list. So there's just so many injuries and there's so many holes to fill. And with them, the Astros, I think they dug themselves a big old hole and they're still working their way out of it. And Seattle, who hadn't played well, but they're in first place in this is a poor division, but I think they just got the most going for them right now. So I'm going to go with none.
They're 5-5 in the last 10.
Yeah.
Rangers are 3-7 in the last 10.
You took Astros 5-5 in the last 10?
So is Seattle.
Okay.
And the Rangers are 3-7 in the last 10.
How'd they ever win 3?
I don't know. I'm going to agree with Chris. I'm going to say none because I've doubled down on the Astros.
Oh,
I declared them dead in the water.
Can I change my answer to 1?
At 7-17. No. Because I was going to pick the Rangers, but it's hard to pick the Rangers.
My question, he can change his answer.
If there was one, it would be the Astros.
Okay.
But I don't think this division is very good at all. And I think the one team that is decent in the division has the most pieces is Seattle.
Jeff?
Ifs and buts and candies and nuts, and we'll all have a Merry Christmas for the Texas Rangers. If they can get healthy. If they can get these guys back and doing what they want to do. I think they've got more than enough to get back into gear. But if starts that sentence for the Rangers. And that is a giant if with all of the injuries that they've had across the board. And even guys that you've brought in and brought up to cover some spots have gotten hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm not making excuses because the Astros had their injuries early, and they haven't lost back-to-back games since losing 3 to New York. That was almost the beginning of May. They're I don't know that they're rolling, but they're playing 500 baseball in the last 10 right now. And they were on a pretty good clip of playing like 700 baseball for a while in that little stretch. So if I'm picking one, it's going to be the Houston Astros. But if, big, giant, bold, capital letters, they can get this the injury bug eliminated from the locker room and get some guys healthy and keep them that way, I still see a possibility of both. One as the division winner, one as the wild card, because I think both of these teams, when healthy, can go on a stretch where you win 17 out of 20 games. And that drastically changes how the division can look. Right, because it's not a good division, and you can beat up on each other, on the rest of the teams in the division pretty easily.
All right, so let me ask you this. New York leads the East by 1.5 games over Baltimore. Who wins that division, Yankees or the Orioles?
Orioles.
Okay.
I still think the Orioles.
Yeah. Central, Cleveland leads Kansas City by 2.5. Who wins that division?
I think the Guardians.
Okay.
Better team.
Does anybody change places in the National League? Philadelphia leads Atlanta by 6. Milwaukee leads Chicago by 4.5.
No.
And the Dodgers lead San Francisco by 5.
No.
So those all stay the same.
Think so.
Okay. So
it's just a matter of where the wild card comes from. The cards.
Cards?
No, wild cards.
Oh, okay, wild cards.
Plural.
Well, St. Louis is 5.5.
In fairness, that was a fair question from
It
Chuck.
was, yeah, but not the cards.
Not the Cards, because they're 200, 500 right now.
They're bad. Does
their manager survive?
Oh man, not if Cardinals fans have anything to say about it. They do not like him.
I wonder who's next.
Which former Cardinals great are they going to roll out this time?
Right. Who's one of theirs? Right.
Yeah.
It's too old for Ozzie Smith.
Yeah, Ozzie Smith doesn't want any part of that.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not. The
Willie McGee.
the Acuna injury really affects Atlanta.
Yeah, it does. That's a killer. That's 24% of your offense just saying bye-bye.
Yeah. And that's the second time for him.
Yeah, well, it was a different knee.
It's a different knee, but I mean, it's the second time for him. I mean, you hate to see that. Obviously, sometimes you feel like that's the kind of bad luck you don't deserve. Obviously.
Yeah, and the team goes as he goes. I mean, he was a 364 hitter last year, and he's a 250 hitter this year. And I mean, it was just. They just go offensively as he goes, and he's just now he's done.
He's done for the year.
Gonzalez.
7:40 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Boom, boom, boom is next. You'll hear the Astros and the Mariners, first place Mariners tonight from Seattle on 100.7 The Score. Broadcast time 8:10, and we'll have Rangers and the Diamondbacks tonight at 6:30. Here on Double T 97.3, Balls and Strikes after 7 tonight on Lubbock Sports Station.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Chris Snead and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Chris in for Snead, for Jamie this morning. Jamie's out for a few days this week. So I was really, frankly, I was shocked really at this news yesterday. When the breaking news came down that Bill Walton had passed away. Just 71, his listed birthday, although I feel like that we had his birthday a few days ago, but his listed birthday on Wikipedia is May 27th. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Did we talk about him the other day?
I think he won a Finals MVP the other day.
Oh, he won a Finals MVP the other day. But his birthday was it's November the 5th. His birthday's November the 5th. He died on the 27th, which was yesterday. So back in November, he would have had a birthday. Anyway, the bottom line is, passed away with due to cancer. I don't think I hadn't seen anything publicly about him battling cancer or anything like that. So he chose to battle that in private, which I totally get. I understand that.
So the first thing I thought about, Chuck Heinz.
It's a crazy story.
It was the first thing I thought about. I said, Bill Walton, and I almost texted you, and I said, I almost texted the tiger in a trance in a state of circumstance.
It's a crazy story. So this is at the Final Four in 2019, and I'd gone up there with 3 of my buddies, and we had bought one of those packages where you get tickets to the game, you have a hotel, and it came with this experience. And one of the experiences was we had drinks at an ESPN event, and Dan Dockich was there, and he was hosting that. And then we have this breakfast on Sunday in between the semifinal game, which was Saturday, and the national championship game, which was on Monday. And this was at the Minneapolis Convention Center in downtown, and we were staying downtown. And so we go to this thing, and they have all the Final Four swag there that you could buy, and they have a breakfast that we were able to go to. This all-you-can-eat breakfast.
Okay.
We walk in, and the gal hands us a mini basketball, and she said, Bill Walton is over there signing autographs, and you have a chance to meet him as part of your package. So we go over there, and we stand in line, and we go and we talk to Bill Walton and meet him and start talking, and he asked what we did, and I told him of my association with the Lady Raider basketball program. This is on a Sunday, and I've never met him before. I'm wearing tech gear, as we all were, and he looks at me and he says, as soon as I said I did the Lady Raider games, he said, were you with the team in 93? That's boom. Again, we all know about 1993 and how special that was for us, but for a guy like him, 2-time MVP in the finals, 2-time national champion, 2-time NBA champion on a Sunday, for him to immediately say, were you with the team in 93? I said, no, I wasn't. And he starts telling me about one of his sons, not the one that's the coach, but he had this son that was in the oil business, and he would be down in the Permian Basin and blah, blah, blah. So we're just striking up conversation. And I remember we took our picture with him, and I said, hey, we got to do our guns up. And he goes, no, peace, not guns. That's what he puts up the peace sign. So we leave, we get our picture taken, go over, and I see the national championship trophy over there. And I wanted to get a picture of it because it's like, man, that would be really cool. I mean, hopefully we're bringing that home, blah, 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 blah. As I'm taking this picture, I hear this voice off on the sideline going, "Hey, Chuck. Hey, Chuck. Hey, Chuck." And it's Bill Walton.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, Bill." He's like, "They got me doing this thing on stage." He goes, "It would be so much better if you would join me and just ask me questions. It would be so much better if you would do that."
So now you're the host.
So now I'm the host of this event that's taking place in this thing, and so it's me and Walton on a bar stool talking basketball for 40 minutes. And I mean, it was the craziest thing ever. I mean, just when you think, you're like, you go to this event, and of course my buddies are like, "Oh my God, here we go again." How? Right, how? And so Walton and I exchanged emails, and he sends me his phone numbers, and he said this. He goes, "You have been the high water mark of my Final Four this year. Thank you. Shine on, BW." Okay. So
You still have the text, don't you?
I still have the email, right? I'm not getting rid of that.
Yeah.
I'm not getting rid of that. And there were a couple times, over the next year or so that I emailed him, and he would respond back to me. And I sent him one the other day, and I did not send him one for his birthday, I think, but I didn't get something back. Well, now I maybe know why. So we're finishing. So we play the national championship game, and we lose the game. And I'm getting ready to go on the air. I'm in the bowels of the arena there, and I'm getting ready to go on the air with Garrett Luft. He's doing, Optimum Game Day Live. And we're talking, and all of a sudden I see Jim Gray, the guy from NBC Sports, Bill Walton, and their producer coming up. And I'm like, and here's Bill Walton. And we go to the post game. Do you have that?
I've had it since 6 o'clock this morning, Chuck.
Okay. So here's what Walton says to Garrett Luft.
Bill and I had a nice moment on the stage. Do you want to talk on the air? I love all things Chuck. It was the best part of my entire Final Four experience was getting to know him, sharing a stage with him, and I learned so much. I learned about life. I learned about the value of humanity. This guy is a tiger in a trance and a saint of circumstance, and I love all things Chuck. And I'm learning because of Chuck to love all things Texas Tech.
Oh, no doubt.
That's the great Bill Walton.
I mean, and Jim Gray, the look on his face is just like, "Geez, Bill, let's get out of here. Let's get," because they were getting on the elevator. They were getting ready to leave the arena. I mean, it's late at night.
Yeah.
And Brandon Francis is walking right by me, who probably would have been the most outstanding player if Tech had won that game. And there's Bill
Man,
Walton.
of course I met Chuck. That's my guy.
And there's Brandon Francis. And that's my Bill Walton story. But it's the craziest thing ever.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing ever.
And that was.
I mean, we spent, and he just said, I said, "What do you want me to talk to you about?" He goes, "Oh, ask me anything. Just ask me anything." And so
Well, you remember how he would get on the old Dan Patrick show years ago? You turn that on and he asked one question, and
it didn't take much.
5 minutes later, you get the answer. It's like you ask a question, you take off your headset.
But we went for breakfast. We end up getting Bill Walton's autograph, and then 15 minutes later, I'm sitting on a stage with him, asking him basketball questions in front of this crowd.
It's a good thing you didn't wear your visor and flip flops.
I had a visor on. I had sneaks on.
Yeah.
And sweats on. I had a double T 97.3 visor on.
You look comfortable.
I did look comfortable. Well, I mean, we were going for a breakfast. Me and my friends were going for a breakfast, and you end up there, listening to Bill Walton pontificate. So
he was a fascinating guy, and I mean, he was kind of as you would say, a 51-49 guy. Everyone either loved him or you hated him, and I kind of went from didn't really like him to kind of liking him because he was an interesting guy, and he was kind of a Renaissance man that could speak on anything for a long, long time. And he didn't take himself too seriously, which is it's kind of a.
He certainly had the right.
Yeah, I kind of wish that in more in my life I could not take myself so seriously. But, he's got the right to do that. I mean, he's doing national broadcasts wearing tie-dye T-shirts and the tribute that they did on SportsCenter to him last night was really a neat deal. So,
I loved him playing for the Celtics. He was really the first big man that we heard of having, and I'm sure there were guys before him, but he was the guy that you heard of the most that had foot problems as a 7-footer.
Yeah,
because you just didn't. We didn't hear about that back in the early 70s.
So guys would just they didn't fight through them. They just basically went away.
Yeah,
these guys were hey, what happened to so and so? Oh, he retired. He quit.
But I mean that was certainly a highlight moment for me. I mean, it was a heck of a lot of fun. It was just the crazy thing is that I guess that's probably vintage Bill Walton. Take somebody that's a nobody and all of a sudden go, there you go.
We get this off the Snead line. I think you got it too. From former producer Zach Sparkman. My greatest contribution in 6 years at Raymar, recording that postgame show. Every person I train now from that town said they don't go to get saved anywhere, record.
You never know when magic will happen.
Never know when magic will happen.
Yeah. Thank you, Zach.
Yeah.
Thank you, Zach Sparkman. Yes, absolutely. I love having that.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.